Thank you for joining us. Our special update today is produced in cooperation with our affiliate partner in Israel, iHLS TV, Israel's Homeland Security TV. And speaking of security, whereas all rational, civilized people would like to see peace on earth and inspiring solutions to all problems, we instead are witnessing more conflict and destruction than usual, a tragic reality. And there's also a media war in which true historic facts, past and present, are smothered by blatant lies to appallingly deceive and incite the public. The truth is, Israel has always wanted peace, but is attacked continuously by those who want war. Our special today examines the facts following these messages.
כל אחד יש לו את גבול הגזרה. מבחינתי מכת אש, פתיחה והתקפה. ההתקפה איטית, מבוקרת, מאובטחת, אין מה למהר. תסרקו היטב. תשמידו מה שצריך להשמיד. תחפשו את הפירים.
אתם רואים פה כבר אחרי ההפצצות וההפגזות, מה שנשאר זה.
This map, published by the United Nations, shows sites in Gaza that were damaged during Operation Protective Edge. The red dots represent damaged buildings. Let's see what's behind these points. What's behind these ones?
הגענו למקום הזה, שזה המכללה החקלאית. אנחנו מצאנו פה 3 קני שיגור של טילי גראד שמגיעים לטווח בינוני.
What's the story behind these? And what's behind this? This rocket was discharged following the IDF's strike on an underground facility, proving that rocket launchers were concealed there. These are just a few examples. Let's look at a map of Shujaya, a neighborhood of Gaza City. From these points, rockets were fired at Israel. These points were hiding places for terrorists. These were the tunnel openings that terrorists dug underground. These were military positions used by terrorist organizations. These hundreds of points show how Hamas turned Shuja'iyya into a military fortress. Shuja'iyya is just one example of a simple fact. The Gaza Strip is a web of terror activity. On the UN's maps, the red dots represent more than destruction.
I'm right now standing in front of the opening to a Hamas terror tunnel, located just meters away from a civilian community here in southern Israel, iHLS. This tunnel is one that is not built for humanitarian aid, to smuggle goods, or anything along those lines. This was a tunnel built by Hamas for one clear goal: to commit acts of terror against the civilians that are living in this area. This tunnel originated in Khan Yunis and extends into Israel for more than a mile. You can see here are wires along the side of the tunnels. These are used for electricity, and other tunnels that we found even had phone wires. These are tunnels that are built with high-quality cement that comes into Gaza from Israel as humanitarian aid. On average, every one of these tunnels costs roughly $3 million. Multiply that by the amount of tunnels that we found, and that leads to about $100 million that could have been invested in schools, in community centers, in hospitals, and mosques within the Gaza Strip. This tunnel, and others like it, clearly reflect Hamas's priorities. Rather than invest time and resources in the population of Gaza, Hamas instead chooses to invest in acts of terror against the Israeli public. This is the true face of Hamas.
You know, here's the difference between us. We're using missile defense to protect our civilians, and they're using their civilians to protect their missiles.
أعتقد أنه أن يتعرض الناس وأن يواجهوا الطيران العسكري الإسرائيلي بصدور عارية ليحموا بيوتهم، أعتقد أنه هذه سياسة أثبتت نجاعتها.
The Rocketeers are firing from homes. These homes are actually command posts of the Hamas and Islamic Jihad army. So we have to attack them, and we try to minimize as we can civilian casualties.
نحن مش اليوم بنسوق شعبنا للإعدام وبنتفرج على، لا، احنا بنقود شعبنا إلى الموت، أقصد إلى المواجهة في مواجهة هذا المحتل. كل الشعب الفلسطيني بيموت مش حماس. كم واحد مات من حماس؟ وين الشعب الفلسطيني؟ وينهم؟ ولادهم برا بيعذبوا.
Construction materials meant for Palestinians routinely enter Gaza from Israel during peacetime. Since the beginning of 2014, 4,680 trucks carrying 181,000 tons of gravel, iron, cement, wood, and other supplies have passed through the Kerem Shalom crossing. Hamas exploits these supplies and invests significant efforts in building underground tunnels. These tunnels allow terrorists to smuggle weapons and equipment. They also enable Hamas to operate underground and infiltrate Israel in order to kidnap and kill civilians.
جهد كبير يبذله الشباب، لكن كما قلت لك الهدف أسمى من كل التعب والجهد الذي يحصل عند الشباب.
To build one 3-kilometer tunnel, Hamas needs 350 trucks and 1,800 tons of concrete.
اليوم ندفع أثمان على طريق الأنفاق. أنا أقول هذا الإبداع من إبداعات المقاومة سيتعزز أكثر وأكثر، لأنه هي جزء من الحرب التي سنواجه بها عدونا.
Imagine what Hamas could build with these resources instead of tunnels. Hundreds of homes and civilian institutions for the people of Gaza.
قطاعين طرق وحرامية ويا ريت كل البلد تسمع وكل العالم تسمع. مش حياة هذه.
What's behind Wafa Hospital in Gaza? The answer? Terrorists. As you can see here, Hamas fires at IDF forces from within Wafa Hospital. It knows that the IDF tries to minimize harm to civilian buildings when acting against Hamas.
اللي بيصير مستشفى الوفا، يعني مأكد فيش حدا غاد من المرضى؟ حكيت معاه، حكى لي إنه بالنسبة له ما في أي طواقم طبية موجودة ولا مرضى.
This secondary explosion proves that weapons were being stored in the hospital when the IDF struck. Hamas uses civilian buildings in Gaza for its terror activity. It hides in them, shoots from them, stores weapons in them, and builds tunnels underneath them. What's behind schools in Gaza? Weapons, concealed rocket launchers, and booby-trapped houses literally behind schools.
כל המטענים מונפפים עם חוטים, הכל מחובר, בית שצמוד לבית ספר של האו"ם.
Here, you can see rockets intended to hit Israeli civilians being fired from a school. What's behind rescue services in Gaza? Terrorists who use ambulances for their purposes instead of saving lives. What's behind water sources in Gaza City? Rocket launchers. What's inside a mosque? Weapons used for terror. So, what is really going on here? Civilian infrastructure, which is meant to serve the local Palestinian population, becomes centers of terror activity meant to harm Israeli civilians and soldiers. Hamas's brutality does not stop with schools, mosques, hospitals, clinics, and ambulances.
We continue now with a report from our affiliate partner in Israel, iHLS TV, Israel's Homeland Security TV.
Hello and welcome to our special edition report, Tunnels. I'm Anna Brooks. Tunnels under borders like the ones that have been discovered in recent days in Gaza are a strategic threat. The IDF has been active in developing systems to locate such tunnels, but until now with limited success. But tunnels aren't only a problem for Israel. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has teamed with Lockheed Martin to find ways to discover more tunnels. One option being evaluated is to use a special radar mounted on a vehicle. The electromagnetic waves penetrate the Earth to construct a multicolored picture of what's below. Tunnels show up as red, yellow, and aquamarine dots against a blue background. Border Patrol agents would see these images on a monitor mounted inside their truck. The ground-penetrating radar is a promising technology because it is already being used by civil engineers to reconstruct underground images. But these engineers are usually only interested in detecting cables or pipes that may be a few meters beneath the Earth. The developers are concentrating their efforts on using much lower frequencies that can penetrate the ground much deeper, and a sophisticated new imaging technology that can display clear pictures of deep tunnels. Israel does not yet have a way to cope with the tunnels. The huge terror tunnel discovered over the weekend in Gaza required hundreds or even thousands of tons of cement, all thanks to Israel allowing the transfer of huge amounts of cement into Gaza. Last January, Israel announced the expansion of the Gaza cement transfer quota following pressure from the international community. Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon authorized the recommendation of the government coordinator for Judea and Samaria to allow the transfer of 1,000 tons of cement and other building materials in order to repair recent storm damage. Terror tunnels have been discovered in the past, and Israel has even stopped the cement transfer. In spite of stopping the transfer, cement began to flow back in, followed immediately by the appearance of larger, more sophisticated tunnels. The latest tunnel discovered is a terror masterpiece, long, branching, and stable, all thanks to Israeli materials. While the tunnels in Gaza are used for terror, others are used by criminals. Drugs are flowing into the U.S. through tunnels on the Mexican border. Experts say that these may be used for terror acts, and they call for a bigger effort to discover them as early as possible. Last fiscal year, 6 of the 7 tunnels found along the U.S.-Mexico border were found in Nogales. In 2012, 7 of the 16 tunnels found on the border were also in Nogales, and 12 of the 18 the year before that, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Nogales is popular for drug tunnels because smugglers can tap a vast underground drainage system that connects the border cities. Once inside the drainage system, smugglers move through spider tunnels into the U.S. The two cities also have large neighborhoods close to each other, making it easy for smugglers to dig tunnels from a house on the Mexican side to a house on the U.S. side. The IDF is now making an effort to locate all the tunnels that reach points inside Israel. The success so far was very impressive, but the effort will double now to try to find a way to discover a tunnel while it is being dug. There are signs that Israel will take part in an international effort because many countries realize the dimension of the threat. One of Israel's main goals during this operation is to target and destroy stockpiles and launch sites of the Hamas rockets. According to high-ranking Hamas officials, the Israeli army has been successful in this aim. The IDF has a regularly updated target bank, which it is using in the operation. In addition, targets of opportunity are being attacked after being located and identified by aerial sensors mainly on unmanned air systems. The IDF has so far used more than 12,000 tons of weapon systems in this operation. Since the beginning of Israel's Protective Edge operation, the first unmanned air system squadron, part of the Israeli Air Force, have almost been in constant flight, circling around the clock over the Gaza Strip in their Heron 1 UAS. It has certainly been playing an important role in the effort to suppress the regular launching of rockets from Gaza directly into Israel. Members of the British Armed Forces have leaked confidential information on Twitter and Facebook, according to figures obtained from the Ministry of Defense. According to cases released under the Freedom of Information Act, the MOD reported at least 11 instances of restricted and confidential information being leaked by members of the armed forces from 2011 to 2013. A Washington think tank has estimated the likely annual cost of cybercrime and economic espionage to the world economy at more than $445 billion, or almost 1% of global income. According to the Washington Post, the estimate by the Center for Strategic and International Studies is lower than the eye-popping $1 trillion figure cited by President Obama, but it nonetheless puts cybercrime in the ranks of drug trafficking in terms of worldwide economic harm. Aero, a Swedish company specializing in unmanned aerial vehicle helicopters, has received an order of 70 rotary-wing drones valued at $100 million over 8 years. Assuming the deal is approved by the Swedish Agency for Non-Proliferation and Export Control's department, the Chinese AVIC company will receive shipments for the unmanned helicopters. While the fighting in Gaza continues, Israel faces a huge problem of protecting its underwater gas reservoirs. These have been identified by terror organizations like Hezbollah in Lebanon as prime targets. While the Navy is still trying to get the needed equipment for this special job, the Israeli Air Force is performing the job by using different types of platforms. The Israeli Air Force is operating a variety of systems to protect this new potential target for terror organizations and armies. The Tamar production platform reaches a height of about 290 meters, and its weight, including the rig's legs, amounts to some 34,000 tons. The Tamar production rig is located approximately 90 kilometers west of Haifa. A 150-kilometer long pipeline of approximately 45 centimeters in diameter connects the rig to the Ashdod reception facility. While the Israeli Navy is responsible for the protection of the gas facilities, the Israeli Air Force is performing the missions that are aimed at detecting any sign of a hostile action targeting the rig and related facilities. Unmanned air systems are playing a major role in this operation, with the Israel Aerospace Industries Heron 1 in maritime configuration patrolling the area. Navy personnel are operating the control station of this system on shore. It is expected the number of Heron 1 and maritime patrol missions will grow, and in parallel, other platforms will join to enhance capabilities. Israel Aerospace Industries has recently unveiled its advanced multiple intelligence concepts for the exclusive economic zone maritime domain surveillance. The comprehensive and unique solution provides valuable coverage of a broad maritime area. Israel Aerospace Industries is applying its experience gained from recent projects performed and offered to foreign customers in order to develop and evaluate these advanced multiple intelligence concepts. The integrated multiple intelligence system, developed by ELTA Systems, Israel Aerospace Industries subsidiary group, is based on a gamut of in-house produced sensors and platforms that provide an affordable and reliable solution. The system relies on coastal, aerial, space, and naval-based sensors combined with an intelligence infrastructure layer. All sensors are interconnected through a control network, providing integrated broad area surveillance, situational awareness, and intelligence exploitation capabilities. For coastal defense and protection of strategic sites, Israel Aerospace Industries provides coastal defense radars and low-level threat air defense radars, which can also be installed on offshore rigs for point defense applications. For further reinforcement of maritime surveillance, additional in-house platforms and sensors may be used according to the customer's requirements. Additionally, Israel Aerospace Industries over-the-horizon radar operating in a high-frequency band can be integrated into the system. This radar is capable of looking over the horizon for hundreds of miles into the sea, employing phased array technology and unique interference cancellation techniques that provide reliable coverage of the broad maritime area, regardless of atmospheric or sea conditions. Elbit Systems is also contributing to the effort and has established a unique laboratory where the use of advanced simulation technologies projects a precise virtual presentation of potential threat scenarios. Based on the relevant customer's operational scenarios, a unique and dedicated protective circle strategy is tailored and implemented by an integrated and effective maritime security suite. The suite includes unmanned aircraft systems, unmanned surface vessels, advanced intelligence surveillance, and reconnaissance systems for maritime, aerial, and ground missions, all linked via a networked maritime C4I capability to a centralized integrated maritime command station. The threats for the gas reservoirs are also from beneath the water. This threat is considered very serious, and many of the solutions are highly classified. One Israeli company has only recently revealed a solution that can be applicable to the problem. DSIT Solutions has unveiled its family of operational underwater fully automatic diver detection systems designed for a variety of defense applications. The Aqua Shield provides long-range detection of even the weakest underwater targets, thus enabling the protection of coastal and offshore sites. DSIT's diver detection systems are built to operate in all hours, in all weather and water conditions. It provides very early warning signals and sufficient time for response. These systems allow the investigation of targets using a special zoom display. They enable pinpoint response, including highly accurate positioning of threats and rapid update rates of tactical pictures. Requiring very little maintenance, the systems provide an exceptionally high level of reliability and low cost of ownership.
This concludes our special report from Israel, produced in cooperation with our affiliate partner in Israel, iHLS TV, Israel's Homeland Security TV. Thank you for being with us.